land on a sales page and the clock is already running. 47 minutes, 12 seconds, and falling. Below the buy button, a little badge. Only 3 left. And somewhere in the copy, the cart closes tonight at midnight. The whole page is engineered to make you feel a door swinging shut. So we ran the obvious test. We closed the tab, cleared the browser, and came back as a brand new visitor. The clock was full again. The cart was open again. 3 were still left. We audited the scarcity you see on sales pages because most of it isn't measuring anything real. First, why scarcity is on the page at all? Because it is not decoration, it is one of the most reliable levers in marketing. The psychologist Robert Cialdini named it decades ago as one of his core principles of persuasion. People assign more value to things that feel less available. As supply appears to shrink, perceived value rises, often out of all proportion to anything real. Underneath that sits loss aversion, the well-documented finding that losing something feels far heavier than gaining the same thing. A deadline reframes a purchase you could make later as an opportunity you are about to lose forever, and missing out feels worse than the money you would spend. That is the engine. Marketers know it works, which is exactly why the temptation to manufacture scarcity that doesn't actually exist is so strong. The principle is real psychology. The question this audit asks is whether the scarcity on your screen is real, or just the principle weaponized with software. Now, the mechanism that powers most of the fakes, because once you understand it, the whole illusion collapses. There's an entire category of software built to show every single visitor a personal countdown that feels like a hard, fixed deadline, and then quietly start a brand new one for the next person who walks in. The marketing name for it is evergreen, because the offer never actually ends, it just resets. The best-known tool in this space, Deadline Funnel, is open about how it does it. When you arrive, it starts a clock tied to you specifically. It plants a first-party cookie in your browser that lasts about 6 months. If you arrive from an email, it reads your address from the link instead. And if there is no cookie and no email, it falls back to your internet address. So your deadline follows you across pages, across emails, and even across devices, which sounds like integrity and is genuinely the honest use of the tool. But the same machinery means the deadline was never about the offer. It was about you. The offer behind it runs forever. It gives you the single cleanest test there is, and it takes about a minute. A real deadline is a property of the offer. It is the same instant in time for every human on Earth, and nothing you do to your own browser can change it. A fake deadline is a property of you. It lives in a cookie, so erasing the cookie erases the deadline. So, run the experiment. Note the time left on the clock. Open a private or incognito window which carries none of your cookies and load the exact same page. If the timer is genuine, it will show almost the same number, ticking down toward the same fixed moment. If it jumps back to a full, fresh countdown, you are not looking at a deadline. You are looking at a cookie with a costume on. The same trick exposes the badge. Clear your data, return as a new visitor, and watch whether only 3 left magically becomes only 3 left all over again. The cookie test is the heavy artillery, but there are faster tells you can read without clearing anything. First, watch what happens when the clock actually hits 0. A real deadline does something. The price changes, the page redirects, the buy button dies. A fake one usually just sits at zeros or silently springs back to life and starts again because there was nothing on the other side of it. Second, read the number on the stock badge and refresh the page a few times. A real inventory count drifts as people actually buy. A fake one is frozen at a suspiciously round, alarming figure like 3 or 5, or it ticks down on a timer rather than on sales. Third, look for a deadline with no date attached, closes tonight, ends in 47 minutes, that has been closing tonight every single day for months, which you can often confirm in archived snapshots of the page. And fourth, the quiet one. The same 47-minute clock greeting you on your second visit a week later. Real scarcity doesn't recognize you. Fake scarcity is built around you. This is not just bad manners. Past a line, it is unlawful, and the regulator has said so plainly. In 2022, the Federal Trade Commission published a staff report titled Bringing Dark Patterns to Light, approved unanimously by the Commission, cataloging the manipulative design tricks it considers deceptive. 2 of the named categories are exactly what this audit is about. Under urgency, the report calls out false countdown timers, clocks that simply reset or vanish when they expire because nothing real was ever ending. Under scarcity, it calls out false low stock messages, The only one left in stock badge shown when inventory is actually plentiful, and false high demand messages like 20 other shoppers have this in their cart. The commission's own line draws the boundary cleanly. If the sale really does end at midnight, or shoppers really are filling their carts, saying so is perfectly fine. It becomes deceptive the moment the claim is false. The psychology is legal. The lie about it is not. Now, in fairness, not every per visitor deadline is a lie, and it matters to draw the line correctly so you are skeptical, not paranoid. There is a genuinely honest version of evergreen urgency. If a seller runs a real onboarding sequence, you join a free class, and you genuinely get a discounted window of, say, 5 days from the moment you join, and that window is enforced, meaning the price truly does rise when your personal clock runs out and stays risen, then the deadline is real for you, even though a different person started theirs on a different day. The cookie test will show you a personal reset, but the offer is still being honored as stated. The dishonest version is the one where the clock expires and nothing changes, same price, same open cart, same 3 left badge, for you, the next visitor, and everyone who scrolls past. The difference is not whether the timer is personalized. It is whether the consequence on the other side of 0 is real. A deadline you can walk through is not a deadline. It is a prop. So here is where it lands. Scarcity is a real and powerful force on your decisions, which is precisely why so much of it on sales pages is manufactured. But manufactured scarcity has a fatal weakness. It has to live somewhere in order to follow you, and that somewhere is almost always a cookie in your own browser. That makes it the rare manipulation you can disarm yourself for free in about a minute. Note the time on the clock, open a private window, reload the page, and watch what the offer does when it thinks you are a stranger. If the deadline holds its place and the stock count behaves like real inventory, take it seriously. If the clock springs back to full and 3 are mysteriously left again, you have your answer, and you should buy on the merits of the thing, never on the fear of a door that does not actually close. The countdown is not measuring the offer. It is measuring how fast you will panic. So before you let a ticking clock decide for you, clear your cookies and watch it reset. That's the tell.